In the eerie universe of hauntings and demonology, few names command as much recognition and controversy as Ed and Lorraine Warren. Their investigations, spanning several decades, not only reshaped pop culture's perception of the paranormal, but also invoked debates among skeptics and believers alike. Let's delve deeper into some of their most infamous cases, examining the details that continue to both fascinate and polarize. One of their most famous investigations, the Amityville case, grabbed headlines in the 1970s. George and Kathy Lutz, along with their children, moved into 112 Ocean Avenue, a house in Amityville, New York, where Ronald DeFeo Jr. had murdered 6 family members the previous year. Within 28 days, the Lutzes left the house, claiming they were terrorized by paranormal phenomena. When the Warrens investigated, they allegedly encountered dark forces. Lorraine described a feeling of a demonic presence and psychic impressions of the DeFeo family's deaths. However, the veracity of these claims was heavily scrutinized. Subsequent owners of the Amityville house reported no supernatural disturbances, and some theorized that the haunting story was a profitable fabrication.
In the early hours of November 13th, Ronald DeFeo Jr. used a .35 caliber Marlin rifle to murder his entire family while they slept in their beds. The victims included his parents, Ronald and Louise DeFeo, and his 4 siblings, Dawn, Allison, Mark, and John Matthew, ranging in age from 9 to 18. One of the most perplexing aspects of the Amityville murders is the question of why no one reported hearing the gunshots when Ronald DeFeo Jr. murdered his family. The .35 caliber Marlin rifle used in the killings was a loud, high-powered weapon and the shootings occurred in a residential neighborhood. Yet reports indicate that none of the neighbors heard the gunshots, which has fueled much speculation and various theories. Some claim that neighbors were asleep at around 3:15 a.m. Others have claimed that the victims might have been sedated, allowing the murders to continue quietly after the first gunshot. However, toxicology reports didn't support this theory. No drugs were found in the victims' systems that would suggest sedation. Regardless of your beliefs in paranormal existence, I really would love to hear your comments on how no one would hear multiple gunshots fired at close range in a residential neighborhood.
Shot my mother and father. Everyone ran out of the bar and that was it. They all took off. No, I had to stay. I was tending off. They all jumped in his car and took off.
Today, police combed the DeFeo's handsome 3-story house for clues while divers explored the backyard swimming pool for the still unfound murder weapon. Police have been questioning the son, Ronald, and now say he is being, quote, safeguarded. Investigators say without explanation that they now feel young DeFeo was in the house at the time of the murders, but they're not yet considering him a suspect.
And so
we
forth.
have no suspect at this time. We have no indication of the motive at this time.
What about Ronald DeFeo, the son, the surviving son?
Ronald is being safeguarded by the Suffolk County Police at this time.
Why safeguarded?
Why? Because there's 6 members of the family dead, and we don't know why, and he's the sole remaining member.
Is he also a suspect?
He's not a suspect at this time.
Few people in the neighborhood knew the family well, but those who did described them as close-knit.
I think they were just very sweet, very religious people, very family-minded people. And that's about all I could say. Very good, very generous, this type. Very close with their children.
There's one element in the usual mass murder story which seems to be missing from this case. There's no sense of fear in this community. No feeling of a mass murderer on the loose. People we talk to seem to feel that whatever was the motive for this crime, it had something to do with the family. It's not something that's going to return to bother anyone else. In Amityville, Long Island, Phil Barno, News Center 4.
The Warrens' investigation into the Perron family's Rhode Island farmhouse inspired the film The Conjuring. According to reports, the Perron family experienced disturbing events, from seeing spirits to inexplicable noises. The Warrens concluded that the farmhouse was haunted by a witch named Bathsheba Sherman, who lived in the house in the 19th century. Lorraine claimed to sense her malevolent presence, accusing her of witchcraft and child murder. Critics have pointed out the lack of historical evidence linking Sherman to witchcraft, suggesting the story was exaggerated. Additionally, the cinematic portrayal of the events in The Conjuring further blurred the lines between fact and fiction, leading to debates about the authenticity of the Warrens' investigation. The Warrens also briefly investigated the Enfield poltergeist in England, where a family reported their children were possessed, and furniture moved inexplicably. Notably, the Warrens were not the primary investigators and arrived uninvited, later claiming the case to be a demonic possession. However, many aspects of the Enfield case were later exposed as pranks by the children, leaving the Warrens' assertions under a cloud of skepticism. Perhaps one of the most extraordinary chapters in the Warrens' career was their involvement in the trial of Arne Cheyenne Johnson, also known as the Devil Made Me Do It case. Johnson, accused of murder, claimed demonic possession as his defense, reportedly after witnessing the Warrens' exorcism of a young boy. The Warrens supported his claim, marking the first time in U.S. history that possession was used as a defense in a court trial. However, the judge ultimately ruled out possession as a defense, and Johnson was convicted, raising questions about the Warrens' contribution and the interplay between paranormal claims and the legal system. The investigations of Ed and Lorraine Warren traverse the murky waters between chilling anecdotes and tangible evidence. Their stories, wrapped in layers of belief, skepticism, and fear, continue to captivate and confound. While their supporters view them as courageous warriors against dark, supernatural forces, skeptics see their tales as fanciful, if not entirely fabricated, narratives feeding on our primal fears of the unknown. Their enduring legacy lies perhaps not in the resolution of the cases they pursued but in their ability to ignite the imagination, inspire countless horror films, and provoke passionate debate about the paranormal place in a rational world.